Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Vocabulary video series here at Graid.com. As always, I'm your host, Mike, and in this video series I provide you some of the best vocabulary you can use in the IELTS exam for the main topics you will find so you can get the highest score possible. Today we are going to be looking at the best idioms related to the topic of transport so that you can improve your band score in the lexical resource area. The first idiom for today is hit the road. Hit the road means to begin a trip. An example of this idiom in a sentence is, we should pack our things and hit the road before it gets too dark. And a trick to remember this idiom is, imagine a road that is sleeping and you need the road to wake up so you can begin your trip. So you hit it and it wakes up and you begin your trip. So to hit the road means to begin your trip. The second idiom is beat the traffic. Beat the traffic means to leave early to avoid travelling when the roads are crowded. An example of this idiom in a sentence is, I always hit the road at 5 a.m. on public holidays so I can beat the traffic. And a trick to remember this idiom is, imagine there is a race between your car and the rest of the traffic. You want to beat them and not get caught in the crowd, so you don't wait for the starter to say go, you cheat and leave early. So beat the traffic means leave early to avoid travelling when the roads are crowded. The third idiom is bumper to bumper. Bumper to bumper means with very little space between two cars in a line of cars. An example of this idiom in a sentence is, the traffic is usually bumper to bumper when I drive my daughter to school in the morning. And a way to remember this idiom is that the bumper of a car is actually that curved bar across the front of a car that protects it when you hit something. So you can imagine when there are a lot of cars very close together, the bumper of one car almost touches the car in front, and the next car's bumper almost touches the next car's bumper, which is why we say it is bumper to bumper. The fourth idiom is backseat driver. Backseat driver means a passenger in a car who gives unwanted advice to the driver. An example of this idiom in a sentence is, my father's a backseat driver. He always tells me to slow down. Okay, this one has a pretty easy trick to remember, I think. Imagine that person who always tells you how to drive when you are driving. Now imagine that person is in the back seat of your car shouting instructions to you as you are driving. This person wants to drive from the back seat, which is why we call them a back seat driver. Okay? Easy way to remember. But note, a backseat driver doesn't have to be in the back seat. It can also be the person who is sitting next to you. Okay? Any passenger in the car who tells you how to drive is a backseat driver. But an easy way to remember it is to imagine that person in the back seat, and then you will remember the words backseat driver. The fifth and last idiom for today is to hitch a ride or hitch a lift. Hitch a ride or hitch a lift means to get a free ride in someone else's vehicle. An example of this idiom in a sentence is, after the party, I hitched a lift back to my home. Okay, now you need to concentrate because to remember this idiom is a little more difficult, but it's possible if you stay concentrating with me now. So, number one, the verb hitch actually means to move something somewhere, okay, with a jerk, but this is difficult to remember and not many people know this. So an easier verb that you probably already know is the verb itch. Now, to itch means to have a sensation on the skin which causes the desire to scratch, yes? So with this word in mind, this verb itch, I want you now to imagine the letter H, okay? This letter H was riding on its bicycle when it got bitten by a mosquito and now its arm itches. So H has an itch, hitch, okay? And ride the bike. So we've already got hitch and ride, okay, to remember. Now, this letter H is worried it wants to go to a doctor. So it asks you, please take me. So you say, of course, you take the letter H to the hospital in your car, okay? When you arrive, the letter H tries to pay you for the ride. You say, no, don't worry, it's free. So we have hitch, a ride, yes? And then we have the connotation, the meaning is to get a free lift or a free ride in someone else's vehicle. So there you have it, 5 fantastic idioms for you to use on exam day. And if you get the topic of transport and you need to improve your lexical resource mark, then the ones I've shown you today will really help make that band score a lot better at the end of the day. There will be more fantastic videos just like this with some great vocabulary to improve your overall writing IELTS mark in the future. Have a great day. Thank you for your time today. And don't forget to check out Graid.com for all of your IELTS needs. See you soon.